Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, a Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry. We're going to go ahead and continue on with our positional group breakdown, starting with running back. Starter, Christian McCaffrey, best in the league.
No debate there. No debate there.
Yeah.
Number 6 in the NFL Top 100, Jerry. I know you didn't want to mention that, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there.
No, that's fine. I mean, he deserves it. There's a couple guys people think maybe a better running back, but all around, he's just the best in the league right now.
Absolutely. And like we talked with Jason, like this could be a huge year for him under the Joe Brady offense. So, but the real discussion here is running backup, right? Like we've got a few guys. Reggie Bonifam, obviously, I think sort of was the main backup last year. But we've got Jordan Scarlett, who we drafted last year. Mike Davis, who we brought in as a free agent. And then Rodney Smith, an undrafted free agent. I don't really know if he's got an opportunity here. But who do you think is that number 2 guy?
Well, I think Mike Smith is going to get cut.
Okay.
My opinion, I think he's just...
Mike Davis, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Mike Davis, sorry. He's going to get cut. He has a kind of a larger cap hit. I'm surprised it hasn't happened before this. I'm going to go with Reggie Bonifam's going to continue to be the backup. I think Jordan Scarlett showed flashes last year, but Reggie Bonifam was a quarterback coming out of college. He had 1 year on the practice squad, and last year he looked good when he got his carries.
Not only that, but he has a very similar skill set to McCaffrey in terms of being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. He had, I think he may have had more receiving yards last year than he had rushing yards. I'm going to verify that. But he does have a very similar skill set.
He had more rushing yards, 116 to 57 receiving yards. He averaged 7.3 yards per rush. I know he had that one long 59-yarder, but still.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking for some reason that was a catch, but you're right, that was a rush. Yeah, I mean, he looked good last year in very limited action.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder if it was because the coaching staff didn't trust him, or if just Christian McCaffrey is just so much better that it's so hard to take him off the field, which I think that's what it was.
I think that's exactly what it was. I do think that this year, you could take this argument either way, but I think this year they should let McCaffrey rest more, considering we're not going to be vying for a playoff spot more than likely. Save McCaffrey for next season or even the season after. We gave him this big deal, this big contract. Not that you're not going to use McCaffrey. He's still going to get probably 350 touches, but he doesn't need 450 touches, right? Let's back him down a little bit.
You don't need to wear out the tires on him.
Yeah, because we got him for the next 6 years. So
yeah,
we don't need to blow through him and give Bonifam an opportunity, because maybe he plays really well and you can either trade him or you just have that guy, to back up McCaffrey, who's really good. Jordan Scarlett, we mentioned, was drafted last year. Do you think he makes the team?
I do.
Okay.
I think he's going to be the third. Like I said, I think Mike Davis is gone.
Yeah.
His cap hits too much. We spent a 5th-round pick on him last year, and I know it's a different coaching regime, but Marty Hurney picked him. He's a fast guy. He's actually very similar, to the rest of them, or to Bonifam and Christian McCaffrey, which I know you would prefer a more short yardage back, but we'll see what he has.
Well, let's since we're talking about running backs, we can also throw Alex Arma in there, fullback. Do you think we have a fullback this season? I mean, a lot of teams go away from the fullback. Does Alex Arma make this team?
Well, Alex Arma also plays some tight end. And with us only having 2 tight ends really right now, I could see him sticking around as a utility knife, as a fullback, short yardage running back, and a tight end.
Yeah, it's true. I think he plays some special teams too. So,
Well, yeah.
You know,
Those utility guys always play special teams.
I don't think he's making a ton of money, so probably not too bad of an idea to keep him around. Yeah, I mean, Mike Davis had like 2 carries for us last year. There's no reason that you're right. Why is he even still on the team? I don't really understand that.
A camp body, and they signed him to a decent contract, $1 million or $2 million. He just hasn't even had that great of a career. That's why I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, so I think that kind of runs through our running back talk. I don't really think there's anything else to talk about with this position.
No, not really. The backup position will be kind of fun to watch in training camp, but we all know who's a stud in that stable.
Yeah, we're riding McCaffrey. I will say that I'm a big Bonifam fan, so I do hope that he ends up number 2 on that depth chart. But let's move over to defensive line. We're going to sort of split this up a little bit and do edge rushers versus interior. Not versus, but edge rushers and interior.
They're not competing against each other.
But let's start with the interior. I think there's a lot of interest here. KK, Derrick Brown, no question starters, right?
Oh, there's obviously no questions on that. Derrick Brown, first round draft pick. Hopefully he pans out to be the stud that everybody expects him to be.
Yeah.
And KK, hopefully he can get back on track. He's had a couple rough seasons since, his big money. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he can get back on track. Maybe Derrick Brown freeing him up a little bit, being able to eat some space for him.
I think one of the two is going to take up a lot of space for the other one. And Derrick Brown's not a great pass rusher. So I sort of hope that he frees up KK because KK is a very good pass rusher. But KK, you say he's had a couple of down years. Last year, certainly, we can't really blame on him and the lack of effort or anything. He was hurt. But by the way, we're going to talk about this just as a base 4-3 defense, right? We're not just saying that there's going to be one defensive tackle. We're saying there's 2. So backups for those guys, just a bunch of people that you've probably never heard of.
Bravian Roy, we drafted this year.
Yeah.
A Baylor guy, very familiar with Matt Rule and company. I expect him to be the 3rd defensive tackle, kind of rotational guy. And from what I read, they really like the guy. So nice little rotational.
Yeah, but he was a 6th round pick. So, that deep in the draft, you're just hoping to get a guy that makes the team. If he's legitimately the backup to K1 Short, that's pretty great for your 6th round pick. So hopefully that's the case.
I believe he's a space eater too. He's not a pass rusher either.
Yeah, he let's see. He's 6'1", 333 pounds. So good Lord.
So Kelvin Benjamin light.
A few inches shorter, a few pounds lighter. All right, then we got Woodrow, Hamilton, Zach Kerr, and Miles Adams, sort of as the guys backing up the other defensive tackle spot. So I don't know much about any of those guys.
I have no clue about any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, my thought is this is a position that I could easily see us waiting till cut down time. And if there was a guy that maybe not salary cap, but just looked good, but just, the roster didn't fall their way and they got cut, I could see us picking one of those guys up.
Yeah, I think other than Bravian Roy, who we already talked about, the rest of these guys have been in the league at least a year or 2. So, a little bit of experience there, but we'll see. It could very well be that the main backup is just not on the roster yet. So,
yeah. Now let's move to the fun part, edge rusher.
I think we've got a lot of talent here. A lot of talent.
I do too. Starting off, I think we'll be starting at a defensive end or whatever edge rusher position they want to call him. Spider Burns, Brian Burns. Oh, so excited.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that they'll unleash the Burns. this year.
Yeah.
Freaking Ron Rivera didn't even give him a shot. This could be a big year for Burns.
Yeah. He looked really good when he was playing before the wrist injury, and Ron Rivera and his I don't like playing rookies. I am very excited for that to be gone.
Yeah.
I want to see these rookies play. Obviously, this year we're going to have a lot of rookies playing.
Yeah, and Matt Rule has said that. He said that, expect to see these young guys go out and play a lot, which could be a good news for Yetur Gross-Matos, who could line up on the other end.
Yeah, him and Stephen Weatherly are going to be competing for that opposite, edge rusher position. And Stephen Weatherly's no pushover.
No.
He had some really good seasons up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Talking about, rosters just not falling his way. That's kind of what happened to him. They had two good defensive ends. He was just the rotational guy, so he wanted to come try to be the guy somewhere else.
Yeah, 3 sacks last year. Also played well in the playoffs. I expect him to start the season as the starter, with Gross-Matos subbing in for him, quite a bit. But then you also have, we're looking at ESPN's depth chart right now. For that left defensive end, you've got Weatherly, Gross-Matos, and then F.A. Obata listed as a third guy there. So we know F.A.'s got some talent. If he's our third guy there, then that's pretty good.
Yeah.
For right defensive end, we got Marquise Haynes and Christian Miller backing up Burns. Both of those guys, I believe, is their second year, right? For both of these guys?
I want to say...
Or is Haynes third year, maybe?
Haynes third and Christian Miller second.
Okay. So neither of these guys have really shown a ton. But Christian Miller didn't get a lot of opportunity last year, of course, being a rookie. But Haynes did show some flashes last year.
Yeah. I really like this group. Hopefully they can kind of keep them rotating in. I'm really kind of nervous for F.A. Obata, just the way there's so many edge rushers that we have on this team, whether he makes a team.
Yeah, well, they signed him, a 1-year contract extension, I guess, which doesn't mean a ton, of course. They can get rid of him. I feel like he's important to the NFL, though. Just coming from the overseas, whatever they call that overseas, list of players that comes over. He's one of the only ones that has come over and actually made an impact on a team. International players list or whatever it is. I think he'll make the team. But
do you think when Matt Rule cuts down, do you think that actually will play a part in it, or?
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does play a part in it. Now, of course, we're not traveling this year, but we did go to London last year, and he was sort of the ambassador for the team out there. That was a big deal. But I mean, FA's played well when he's gotten an opportunity. He just hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities.
And he's always been raw.
Yeah.
He's just a freakish athlete that's very raw.
I think he fits what Matt Rule is looking for. It's like young guys who he can coach up and teach. He's not that young, though.
He's 28 years old.
Or something? Is he 28?
28, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, that sort of changes the way I feel about him then. I thought he was like 26.
I hope he makes the roster. Seems like a great guy. And we've seen when he's out there, he can get to the quarterback. So,
yeah, that's also a position that is nice to have some depth at. And F.A.'s he's a good player. He's not going to be the starter on a team, but he can come in and make some plays. So I like F.A. I do hope he makes the team. And we also have Devante Lambert, who's listed here. His third season, he was with the Bucks, I think, last year. Don't know much about him. Probably just a camp guy.
Yeah, and I hate saying it, but yeah, that's most likely just a camp guy.
No sacks in his career. In fact, it looks like he's only played 1 year in his 2016. So, definitely a camp guy. All right, so let's kind of talk about. Let's go back to running backs real quick. How do you feel about the running backs overall? In terms of starter, obviously A+, but in terms of the position overall, are you still sticking to an A+?
Can I go NA, not applicable?
No.
Because I'm gonna say C+ just because Bonifam showed flashes, but at the same time, there's so much unknown with the whole group.
Oh my God, you are insane. I'm going A+. I mean, anytime you have
No,
McCaffrey...
no. McCaffrey's A+.
Yeah.
The rest of them, I'm giving C+.
Okay, I'm talking about the position. Okay, let's start over. Let's look at the position overall, running back position overall, including McCaffrey, including the backups. How do you feel?
I feel A+ just because I know McCaffrey will be able to take 98% of the snaps.
Agreed. Yep. A+. And how comfortable would you be with Bonifam, assuming he is the number 2, coming in and starting for McCaffrey? I mean, do you think that he could do some things? Is he going to be 80% of McCaffrey? 60% of McCaffrey? Like, what do you think?
McCaffrey is so much. 80% is a lot. Yeah. I would say 70. I think he could pull off 70%.
I think 70% of McCaffrey is a B.
Yeah.
That's a good player, you know? That's I think that's probably...
And again, I wouldn't count out Jordan Scarlett. This is his second year.
Yeah, I don't know about Jordan Scarlett, man. I honestly think I think Scarlett or Davis, either one could be cut, and it wouldn't surprise me. Davis, because he makes more money, is the obvious choice. But if he comes out and really shows some things in training camp, then I could easily see him making the team and Scarlett being cut. Scarlett, to me, last year just didn't do anything. He didn't look good at all.
Well, he really didn't do anything.
I know.
He had 4 rushes in preseason. That was it.
Yeah, exactly. And they were not impressive.
Those 4 rushes were not good.
That told me all I needed to know about him.
In a horrible year with a horrible offensive line, you had 4 rushes that looked bad. You are done.
Exactly.
To the door.
I didn't really like the pick when they drafted him, so maybe I'm biased. But all right, let's move to the defense. We'll look at these separately, like we did when we talked about them. Interior defensive line. How do you feel?
I like our starters really good. I really do. Yeah. But after them, it is a drop-off. I know Bravian Roy was drafted here, but again, late. And the other guys, they're just guys.
Yeah.
I thought we'd bring in maybe a Kyle Love, but I know he's too old for it, for this roster.
Yeah, I was a little surprised they didn't keep him around.
Yeah, me too.
I think that I do think, before you give a grade, I do think that we will bolster that position a little more before the season starts. So I could see bringing in, I'm not going to name names because I don't know who's going to be cut, but bringing in a veteran guy to come in and work with K1 and Derrick Brown, maybe coach up Derrick Brown a little bit. I could easily see that.
A young veteran.
Yeah. Now, even a veteran. I mean, I honestly think that Matt Rule could bring in some veteran backups at a lot of positions, just to kind of come in and be veteran presences that the locker room needs, and just some solidity behind these rookies that are going to come out and play. I actually think that it could happen to a lot of positions.
All right.
And I'd be okay with
my grade. So my grade, I'm giving C-.
Wow. You're really putting a lot of stock
Brown
into these
and KK,
backups.
I going B+, A-, but there's just nothing behind them.
I can see that.
And those guys always rotate, so it just has to fall so hard.
Plus, you got questions about KK, right? Mm-hmm. Is he truly healthy? I'm going to go a little higher than that. I'm going to go B-, just because I think the ceiling for KK and Derrick Brown is very high. And I do think that we will end up filling out the backups after training camp cuts. So, yeah, I'm going to go B- there. I'm pretty high on the defensive line overall.
I am too.
The edge rushers that we talked about, I'm very high on, actually. As going through this exercise, I think we have pretty good depth. It's still young. It's pretty cheap. And I think performance to cost ratio is going to be very high. I'm going A for our edge rushers. I'm really excited about them. Even though they're young and kind of unproven, they have a very high ceiling.
I was going B+ because of the unproven part.
Yeah.
People who've listened to this podcast for a while know how much I love Brian Burns, and I think he's going to be a superstar in the league. And I really like Yetur Gross-Matos. Sorry,
so much that you don't even know his name. Yeah, Burns is your Joey Sly.
Yeah, and Stephen Weatherly, I like that pickup. Even if he's just a rotational guy backup, I like it for him for that. So I really like it. And again, F.A. Obata, Marquise Haynes, Christian. There's depth there that looks good on paper.
It's the deepest position on the team. It really is. Easily.
Bar none.
Yeah. And maybe that's why I'm so high on it. Maybe I shouldn't be an A on it just because there is a lot of unproven there. But I just like the depth, and I like who we have as starters. Gross-Matos is sort of an unproven. I mean, he's a young guy. He needs some NFL seasoning, but he's got skills. He's got a lot of skills.
Yeah. The whole edge rushers have a lot of skill, but haven't proven it yet.
Right.
Even Stephen Weatherly, who's played, he's only played in spot positions, so it's scary, but at the same time, it looks really good on paper. Maybe it's just me with my Panther blue colored glasses, but I think that's going to be the strength of the defense.
Stephen Weatherly was a 7th-round pick. 7th-round pick in 2016, so he's still very young. He's only 26. People in Minnesota really liked him. They were pretty bummed when he left. All right. Well, I think we're both pretty... I think we're kind of on the same page here overall, although I'm a little higher on tackle than you are. Two positions that are probably two of the strongest positions on our team, running back and defensive line.
All right.
Cool.
Well, we want to thank everybody for listening. If you like our show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbox@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show.
We'll be back probably next week. We'll talk about another couple of group of positions. I don't know, Jared, if we're going to do another poll or how we want to choose that.
There's only 2 groups left, so quarterback and secondary is what we're doing.
You are forgetting about place kicker. Maybe we might dedicate an entire show to that. We'll see. All right, everybody. Until next time, stay safe and keep pounding.